Hi class, this is Professor Hinderocker, and we are in week 4, which is the upper quarter review this week. This week we're going to be reading chapter 8, which is pages 207 to 229. You have your overview video to view as well as your instructor lecture. So the instructor lecture is below under read and review, and you're viewing your weekly overview video right now. So great job. This week you'll also be completing a midterm exam as well as your CAP 3. So in this week we'll be reviewing weeks 1 through 4, all of the material that we have learned in the first 4 weeks of class, we're taking this week to go back and make sure that we've thoroughly understood the concepts and grasped the material that's been presented to us. So keep up the good work and keep up with your memorization. If you're really struggling with something, I would suggest that you go back inside of the learning activities in previous weeks 1 through 4 and make sure that you're really understanding what we're learning. That way when you get to the midterm and you take it this week, you'll do well. Moving down for read and view, as I said, you have PowerPoint for chapter 8. We only have one PowerPoint this week, so it's not a ton of content, but it is important content, so make sure that you are listening to that PowerPoint and reading it. Moving along, you have exam 1, which is your midterm. So this is a cumulative exam from weeks 1 through 4. We want to see how you're doing with the material. It's going to take you 120 minutes, or it might not take you 120 minutes, but you have 120 minutes to take it, which means if you're good at math, you have 2 hours to take the test. It consists of 50 questions. Each question is worth 2 points. All right, so that's really important to remember. That total is 100 points in total for your midterm, so make sure that you're using your text. In your notes, you have that ability because we are taking this test online and it's an online course. Also remember that spelling counts here. So if you have a fill in the blank question, you want to make sure that you spell whatever you're spelling correctly because most of our tests are auto-graded. So make sure that you are spelling correctly. Make sure that if you have to write a sentence, you're spelling out those words correctly, using the correct punctuation, that sort of thing. All right, moving on, CAP 3 for the upper quarter. We've done 2 CAPs already, so this should not be a surprise. It's 10 questions, and we're testing what you learned this week. Make sure that you are memorizing the content from this week from chapter 8. We're still learning. While we are going over weeks 1 through 4, we still have content here right now in chapter 8 that we want to make sure that we've learned. So you do have 2 attempts on this as per usual. Make sure that you use them wisely. Hopefully you reviewed your CAP 1 review, and CAP 2 review will be coming this week, and then next week I will make a review going over this CAP 3 so that you better understand the questions and the answers and why the answers are what they are. Moving on, web activities. These supplemental activities are here for your benefit. So I've received a good amount of emails asking how can I study better or how can I get my grade up, and this is the answer. Really it is. Make sure that you're viewing all of these videos. We provide these videos for you so that you have more visual content and so that you can better understand what we're talking about. If you have a question regarding the video, please email myself or please email Professor Garrett. We're happy to answer your questions. We are here to help you, but recognize that you do have this these supplemental tools that will help you inside of this course, so take advantage of them. If you email me asking for help, the first thing I'm going to do is ask you, hey, did you watch the supplemental videos and or view the supplemental content? And once you've said yes, then I can give you further instruction. But if you haven't, realize that my first inclination is going to be to tell you to go view the supplemental content because it's there and readily accessible. So we're going to go back up to the top. And just a couple things I want you to remember for this week. You're taking your midterm, so please make sure that you study appropriately. Make sure you allocate enough time for memorization and to go over concepts that you are maybe a little bit confused on. Also, feel free to reach out to myself or Professor Garrett, like I said before you take the midterm, if you have any questions or concerns regarding the content that you may be a little bit fuzzy on or confused on. And lastly, I would just really encourage you to stay the course. We've covered a lot of content. And continue to be diligent, continue to be intentional inside of your studies. I was reading the other day in my devotional, and there was a verse, and I forgot exactly what book it's from. I believe that it's from Psalms or Proverbs. Maybe it's from Proverbs, but it says, let everything that you do be done for the glory of the Lord. That about sums it up. So I would encourage you this week in your studies, be diligent, be really intentional, be wholeheartedly in this content and apply yourself. All right, do it for God's glory, because when we go out into the real world and we have our career and we're working with patients, we want to make sure that we know our content. We want to make sure that we're handling our patients with the utmost care, just like Christ handles us with the utmost care. So that would be my encouragement to you this week. Handle this content as if you were handling a patient. You want to give it your utmost attention. You want to make sure that you truly understand it before you go and you take a test on it, or before you go and test your knowledge of any kind on a CAP. So that is my encouragement to you for the week. I hope that you guys have a great week. We have a lot of content that we're reviewing. Like I said, email me if you need help, and I look forward to reading your future work as well as seeing how you do in your midterms. I know you all do great. So I will talk to you all later, and have a wonderful week.